Welcome to Hawksong Weaving. My name is Took. I'm a genderqueer disabled weaver who works exclusively with thrift store or secondhand yarn, and today I'll be weaving a scarf inspired by black pearls and giving a bit of an update about life post-double mastectomy. I hope you enjoy.
Life takes odd turns, but even tattered and worn yarn still has value. Tired joints and health flares don't have to stop the journey. Welcome to Hawksong Weaving, where all our paths are a little bit warped.
So starting with an explanation on why I've developed this adaptive warping method. I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which has cascaded into postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome and mast cell activation syndrome, but that's less relevant for this particular thing. So for time's sake, know that I have joints that don't work, and if I shift positions too quickly, I get pre-syncope or pre-fainting symptoms. All of this comes with chronic pain, so for a lot of reasons, a traditional warping board doesn't work for me, along with being really expensive and taking up a lot of space in my small studio. So I use an accordion coat rack as my warping board. It's nice and neat, it contracts into a nice smaller space, and I can adjust it as I need to. And I don't need to be up and down and all around and having tachycardia, a racing heart, that stresses out my medical alert cat Penelope. She was in full swing medicine cat a la warrior cats, those who know, during the initial double mastectomy recovery. She was so annoyed that she couldn't sit directly on top of the incision sites and purr me to better health. I know that from her perspective, sorry, it was right there, I'm a very vexing charge. I'm constantly leaving her care, returning injured, I don't sit down when I'm told to, and very clear baby talk meows from her, and I'm all around likely viewed as a very large, dumb, and frustrating kitten. With the warp threads sorted, I'm picking up the loom to release the warping board from the loom, gathering the warp threads into one large bundle, and using the back of my neck to drape them over and keep them tidy and out of the way, while I collapse the warping board and get it tucked out of the way until I'm at a full pause point where I can get it unclamped from my desk and put back into its drawer. I use terry cloth towels to cushion the warp threads. This helps prevent the finished weaving from being tighter at the ends and looser in the middle, creating a sort of sausage profile in the weaving. The way I warp has me cutting the warp loops at the end of winding the warp. This is what's easiest on my body. It won't work for everyone, but that's okay. You'll note that I'm combing through with my fingers. This helps the warp lay more evenly, creates less tension problems, but it's not critical. This isn't a great angle, but I'm being careful to pay attention to how the warp threads are laying on the back bar of the loom. The right-hand thread goes through the smaller hole in the rigid heddle reed. Again, it's not critical and some minor mistakes aren't the end of the world, but it does help keep things easier to keep the tension of the warp threads even across the entire weaving. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my work, some free ways to do that are to like, subscribe, or follow and share, and of course comment. This applies to other small artists as well. It's a great way to let the social media algorithms know that this is content worth watching. If you'd like to support me financially, there's a Buy Me a Coffee linked below, along with the link to the Hawksong Weaving Square site where you can purchase unique woven products. Unfortunately, I'm having to stop the Patreon that I've mentioned in prior videos. Between the YouTube channel, upcoming art markets, and the full-time job of managing my health, I just don't have the time to engage with Patreon the way I would need to in order for it to be a viable option. Add to that a large number of my followers are disabled and on tight budgets. I'd much rather folks have the Buy Me a Coffee in a tip jar fashion as they can or are inclined to. Attaching the warp to the bottom apron bar is pretty easy. I finger comb it, get it separated into bits about 4 to 5 warp threads wide, separate those bits into 2, and then do a half hitch tie to the apron bar. After that's done, it's a matter of tucking in the second terry cloth towel, tightening the warp tension by turning the cogs on the side of the loom, and then we get to the fun of weaving. With this scarf, it's a matter of picking and choosing which colors and little balls of yarn will go well with each other. Like I said at the beginning, I'm weaving a scarf inspired by a black pearl, so lots of yummy merino blend wool in shades of purple, deep greens, navy, and hints of fuchsia. For those who have been following along some of the double mastectomy drama, here's the official update. I will be doing a full video on this down the line once my brain is less mush. Some background for those who are new. Due to a misdiagnosis, surprising very few people, the AFAB child in the 90s was misdiagnosed with an anxiety and panic disorder rather than the actual autism and CPTSD. I was overmedicated with risperidol for most of my life. Between that and family factors that I won't get into, I've been lactating as a side effect from age 16 to 30. That led to a lot of internal scar tissue from chronic mastitis that was causing constant sharp stabbing pain. I'm chronically ill, and I deal with chronic pain from joint issues on the day-to-day basis. I can deal with dull achy pain until the cows come home, and then deal with it for the cows, but if sharp pain enters the chat, I'm screwed. Thankfully, I'm transmasc non-binary / agender, and was able to access a double mastectomy to treat gender dysphoria. Because I have so many chronic conditions and I have a high BMI, it was really hard to find a surgeon willing to take me on. Dr. Joyce McIntyre at the UMass Memorial Hospital in Worcester is one of, if not the only surgeons, who will take patients with a high BMI and chronic conditions of my type. I found her a bit laissez-faire regarding follow-up, but she does good work. This entire experience has really driven home that I found a home in Northampton. I have a community, a support network, and a found family who really cares about me. And that love and support isn't conditional, which is weird. Finally having it click that these people care about me for me and not what I can do for them is absolutely bizarre and something that I hope everyone can experience. I'm healing really well and haven't had any complications, and even when healing from an amputation, I'm already in so much less pain. Remember, if something is going to give you a better quality of life, it's worth pursuing. Whether that be adaptive weaving methods instead of knitting, gender-affirming care that has positive side effects, or anything really, go after it as much as you can. We're stuck in malfunctioning meat sacks, we might as well decorate and remodel them if it makes them feel better. On a funnier note, please enjoy a special cameo from the rarely seen partner. I'm polyamorous. Y'all are used to seeing waves from the cryptid goth IT engineer. Say hi to the professionally trained opera singer who can fence. She modeled for Persephone's Embrace shawl that I made ages ago. I'm an incredibly lucky bloke to have both of them in my life. Now tying off the scarf fringes, I prefer to do 2x2 warps tied into a fringe of 4, but we'll do a double sliding knot of 3 if I don't have enough warp. I steam block my wool blend scarves. This helps the wool fibers to soften into each other and relax into the weave. Without blocking, you can get wrinkles because the weave tends to be stiff without the added heat and water. Once the steam blocking is finished, I eyeball the length of fringe that I want and use the "don't ask me how much I spent on these good shears" and trim it. The final step is between half an hour and 45 minutes of tying the fringe knots. This is something that I like to do to create a more finished and polished look, even if the particular yarns aren't likely to unravel. Thank you for coming along as I wove a black pearl scarf. I'm so glad for the odd turn that your path took that brought you here. Thank you for spending time with me at Hawksong Weaving, where we're all a bit warped, and I hope that you have a truly excellent week.